The night he walked into the school hallway, he expected nothing more than awkward conversations, tired teachers, and the quiet reminder that he was raising a child alone. What he didn't expect was to see the woman who had once broken his heart standing at the end of the corridor. For a moment, the world felt like it had slipped backward 10 years. The fluorescent lights hummed softly above the crowded hallway of Maple Ridge Elementary. Parents moved from classroom to classroom with polite smiles and coffee cups in hand. But Daniel Carter stood frozen near the entrance, his hands still resting on his daughter Lily's small backpack. Because across the hallway, standing near the classroom door in an elegant navy blazer, was Olivia Bennett, his first love, the girl who had once believed in him more than anyone in the world. And now she was the CEO of one of the biggest companies in the city. Daniel felt his chest tighten as memories rushed through him like a sudden storm. Before the story continues, take a moment to like this video, comment where you're watching from, share it with someone who believes in kindness and second chances, and subscribe to Kind Soul Stories for more emotional stories that stay with you long after they end. Daniel hadn't seen Olivia in nearly a decade. Back then, they had been young, hopeful, and full of plans that felt bigger than the world. They had met during their final year of college, both working late shifts at a small coffee shop near campus. Daniel had been studying architecture while Olivia pursued business. She had a fierce determination about her, the kind that made people believe anything was possible if they worked hard enough. Daniel loved that about her, but life had other plans. His father became seriously ill during his final year of college, forcing Daniel to drop out and take on multiple jobs to support his family. Hospital bills piled up. Dreams faded quietly under the weight of responsibility. Olivia had been offered a once-in-a-lifetime internship across the country, the kind that could change her life. Daniel remembered the night they sat together in his car outside her apartment, the rain tapping softly against the windshield. She had cried, afraid to leave him behind. And he had smiled, pretending it didn't break his heart to let her go because he loved her too much to hold her back. After she left, their calls slowly became less frequent. Life moved forward in different directions. Eventually, silence replaced the promises they once made. Years later, Daniel had married someone else, had a daughter, and built a quiet life, working as a maintenance supervisor at a small apartment complex. But that marriage didn't last. When Lily was 3, her mother left. Since then, Daniel had been doing everything alone. Late-night fevers, homework struggles, school lunches packed at 6 o'clock in the morning. Every day felt like a balancing act between exhaustion and love. And yet somehow Lily had become the brightest part of his life. Now she was 8 years old, curious, kind, and always asking questions about the world. Daniel had come to parent-teacher night hoping to hear how she was doing in school. Instead, fate had decided to reopen a chapter he thought was long closed. Olivia looked different now, not older exactly, but stronger. Her posture carried the quiet confidence of someone who had fought hard for her place in the world. Her hair was pulled back neatly, and the soft glow of the hallway lights reflected off the small diamond earrings she wore. People around her seemed to recognize her. A few parents whispered as they passed. Daniel overheard one of them mention her name with admiration. Olivia Bennett, CEO of Bennett Innovations, one of the fastest-growing tech companies in the state. Daniel suddenly felt very aware of the worn fabric of his jacket and the scuffed tips of his work boots. He hadn't planned on seeing her again like this. Not when she had become everything she dreamed of, and he had become someone else entirely, just another single dad trying to get through the week. He thought about leaving. Maybe Lily's teacher wouldn't mind if he came another day. But before he could turn around, Olivia looked up. Their eyes met across the hallway. For a moment, everything else disappeared. The noise of parents talking, the sound of children laughing in nearby classrooms, the footsteps echoing through the corridor. All of it faded. Recognition flickered across Olivia's face. Then something deeper, something softer. Daniel felt his heartbeat quicken as she slowly walked toward him. Each step seemed to bring 10 years of memories closer. When she stopped a few feet away, there was a brief silence that carried more emotion than words ever could. Daniel wasn't ready for the flood of feelings that came rushing back. He remembered the way she used to laugh when he told terrible jokes. The nights they stayed up talking about the future, the promise they once made to build a life together. But life had taken them down different roads. Now they stood here like strangers connected by a past neither of them had forgotten. Olivia's gaze shifted gently to Lily standing beside him. Lily looked up curiously at the woman her father couldn't stop staring at. Daniel suddenly realized he didn't even know how to introduce them. Because Olivia wasn't just someone from his past. She was the person who once knew him better than anyone else. The person who believed he would design buildings that would change city skylines. Instead, he spent his days fixing broken pipes and repainting hallways. And somehow standing in front of her again made him feel like the younger version of himself. The one who had dreams he never finished chasing. Parent-teacher night continued around them. But Daniel barely noticed. His mind drifted through memories he thought time had erased. He wondered if Olivia ever thought about those days, too. If she remembered the coffee shop where they first met, or the notebook where Daniel used to sketch buildings while she studied business plans. He had once drawn a small house in that notebook. A simple one-story home with big windows and a porch. He told her that one day he wanted to design homes where families could build happy lives. Olivia had smiled and said she wanted to build companies that gave people opportunities. They had believed they would build that future together. But dreams sometimes take unexpected paths. Daniel looked down at Lily, who was now tugging lightly on his sleeve. Her eyes sparkled with curiosity. She had no idea about the complicated history standing in front of her. To her, this was just another parent at school. And that thought suddenly grounded Daniel. Because whatever his past looked like, his greatest achievement was standing beside him. Raising Lily had been the hardest thing he'd ever done. But it had also given his life a purpose deeper than any dream he once had. Slowly, the tension in his chest began to ease. He realized something important in that moment. Maybe he hadn't become the architect he once planned to be. Maybe life had taken away certain dreams. But he had still built something meaningful. A daughter who trusted him, a home filled with love, even if it was small, and a life that, while imperfect, still mattered. Across from him, Olivia seemed to notice the quiet strength in his eyes. The hallway lights reflected softly across the polished floor between them. Neither of them spoke much, but sometimes the most powerful moments in life happen in silence. Daniel wondered if fate had brought them together again for a reason. Not to reopen old wounds, but perhaps to remind them both of who they once were and who they had become. As the evening continued, parents slowly began leaving the classrooms, their conversations fading into the cool night outside. But something inside Daniel had shifted. Seeing Olivia again had stirred emotions he thought were long buried. Yet, it also reminded him of something he had nearly forgotten. Dreams don't always disappear. Sometimes they simply change shape, and sometimes life gives people unexpected second chances when they least expect them. Before we reach the ending, there's something special I want to ask you. Comment below with the word second chance. If you believe life sometimes brings people back together for a reason. Daniel walked Lily out of the school later that night, the cool evening air brushing gently against his face. The parking lot lights glowed softly above rows of cars. He held Lily's hand as they walked toward his old pickup truck. Behind them, the school doors opened again. Daniel didn't turn around immediately, but somehow he knew. Life had just shifted in a way he hadn't expected. And sometimes the most important chapters of our lives begin when we think the story is already over. If this story touched your heart, take a moment to like the video, share it with someone who believes in second chances, comment your thoughts below, and subscribe to Kind Soul Stories so you never miss stories that remind us how powerful kindness and fate can truly be. Because sometimes the people we lose along the way are the ones life brings back when we're finally ready to meet them again.